here right now. And the question is, what is it? And so if we imagine the same thought experiment from the year 2500, the 25th century, and they whisper into our ear, what do they say? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm suggesting that they say, don't die, is the only thing that we as a species figure out. And that is because we're baby steps away from superintelligence. And when you have intelligence that's 1,000,000 times or 1,000,000,000 times smarter than you are, you have to figure out what to do. And so people think that Blueprint is about health and wellness or about vegetables, and it's really not. It's what to do on the eve of superintelligence.
What took so long? What took so long for creativity to really take off? And my rather heterodox answer to that is that it didn't evolve for the purpose for which we now use it. It evolved for something else, namely for the transmission, or better put, for the reception of cultural knowledge, memes, cultural knowledge. So many animals have cultural knowledge, but it's very hard to transmit. It involves things like mirror neurons or something, where if you do this, then the ape can also do that. But if you do a purposeful thing, then as soon as you get to any kind of complex purpose, apes can't copy it.
Inference is comparing it to the human brain and figuring out the human brain is able to have hours, decades of context while being able to act on the order of 10 milliseconds, while having 100 trillion parameters, or however you want to count it. And I wonder if the best way to understand what's happening here is that human brain hardware is just way more advanced than the hardware we have in GPUs, or that the algorithms for encoding video information are way more efficient. And maybe it's some crazy mixture of experts where the active parameters is also on the order of billions, low billions, or some mixture of the two.
There's a lot of intelligence that's not as simple as being able to solve equations and answer difficult questions. There's a lot of intelligence in how you navigate life itself and how you treat human beings and the path that you choose in terms of, like we were talking about, delayed gratification, and think that there's a certain amount of intelligence in that, a certain amount of intelligence in discipline. There's a certain amount of intelligence in, forcing yourself to get up in the morning and go for a run. There's intelligence in that. It's like the being able to control the mind, and this sort of binary approach to intelligence that we have.
Yeah. And so many people are amazingly brilliant in a narrow domain.
Yeah.
They don't scale to others, and we care about general intelligence.
And there's one kind of program that we don't understand even in principle, and that's an AGI. One day we will, but I see no sign of it at the moment, and it's pretty frustrating.
What would be a sign?
Well, if somebody has a theory, the sign wouldn't be in the machine. The sign would be a theory where somebody writes a book or publishes a paper that says, I've solved it. This is what characterizes a GI. And if we could write a computer program that has that property, it will be an AGI. And this is the reason, because, and it will say, people have always thought that intelligence is about so-and-so, but it isn't. It's about so-and-so. It would be an explanatory theory of what general intelligence is.
I think we have this opportunity to have millions of people start informing artificial intelligence with the premise, and we know it's true, that random acts of kindness are wired. Many of us are here, if not the majority, going back in your lineage, many generations. We gave birth to artificial intelligence. I don't think artificial intelligence is properly named. I think it's a form of natural intelligence. We just have re-amplified it exponentially.
It wouldn't be concerned about your well-being.
It wouldn't be concerned about any life, right? Because it doesn't need biological life in order to function, as long as it has access to power. And assuming that it is far more intelligent than us, there's abundant power in the universe. There's abundant power. Just the ability to harness solar would be an infinite resource, and it would be completely free of being dependent upon any of the things that we utilize.
And again, we're kind of thinking what we would use for power.
Right.
If it's smarter than us, if it does novel research in physics, it can come up with completely novel ways of harnessing energy, getting energy. So I have no idea what side effects that would have for climate.
Right. Right. Why would it care about biological life at all?
We don't know how to program it to care about us.
And even if we did, if it felt like that was an issue, it felt like that if that was a conflicting issue, it would just change its programming.
Parvex paradox is like the things which are like most beneficial from education for humans might be the easiest to automate because it's really easy to educate AIs. You know, you can throw the textbooks that would take you 8 years of grad school to do at them in an afternoon.
Well, what education gives you is flexibility. So it's less about the particular facts you know, as it is about your ability to acquire skills, acquire understanding. So it has to be good education.
So I call that the hierarchy rule. There's a hierarchy of might is right. The mighty things can affect the less mighty things, but not vice versa. So once knowledge comes into the picture, it's the other way around. The hierarchy rule is broken, and one way of defining knowledge is to say that it's information that violates the hierarchy rule. So when we use tools, we're violating the hierarchy rule because we're not letting the weight of the tree overwhelm us, but instead we are chopping down the tree with a stone axe. And then we can use the tree, which is much heavier than us, for our purposes.